Beloved brothers and sisters, in Christ today I want to speak a prophetic word into your spirit. A word that I believe is not just information, but divine confirmation. You are standing on the edge of a new chapter. You are on the threshold of a season where the doors that resisted you will open. The walls that confined you will fall, and the battles that drained you will turn into testimonies of victory. This is your season of unstoppable breakthrough. Breakthrough is not an accident. It is not luck, not coincidence, and not chance. Breakthrough is the visible manifestation of the invisible hand of God moving in your life. And before God brings a breakthrough around you, He first brings a shift within you. That is why today, I want to share 7 signs God is lifting you into a season of unstoppable breakthrough. When God begins lifting you into a season of unstoppable breakthrough, the very first sign often appears deep inside your spirit long before anything changes around you. It starts as a subtle stirring, a restlessness that you cannot fully explain. You might look at your life and see that nothing has shifted yet. Your circumstances may. When God brings a new season, He always shifts your internal environment before your external environment. Breakthrough begins in the spirit long before it manifests in the physical world. Your spirit senses the next level before your eyes can see it. This inner shift can also manifest as a loss of peace when you stay in places God is calling you out of. You may feel irritated by what used to feel normal. You may feel disconnected from conversations, habits, or routines that once felt familiar. This is God detaching you from the old so He can transition you into the new. Whenever God is preparing to elevate you, He allows your spirit to outgrow your surroundings. What once comforted you no longer satisfies you because God is creating new desires aligned with your destiny. During this time, your dreams may become clearer, vision becomes sharper. You feel ideas rising, goals forming, and passions awakening. You may even start seeing small glimpses in prayer, in thought, in imagination of where God is taking you. These are spiritual signals that alignment is happening. God is preparing the path, but He is also preparing the person who will walk the path. Your restlessness is a sign that your spirit is maturing and shifting into the frequency of breakthrough. Another aspect of this holy dissatisfaction is that your inner standards begin to rise. You no longer tolerate what you once settled for. You don't want average. You want excellence. You don't want to survive. You want to thrive. You don't want comfort. You want calling. God is elevating your expectations because He is about to elevate your life. Breakthrough cannot enter a complacent heart. It enters a heart that is ready, willing, and aligned. If you have been feeling this inner stirring, this quiet but persistent spiritual pressure pushing you forward, understand that it is not accidental. It is the voice of destiny whispering, there is more. It is God preparing you to walk into the place He has ordained for you. The restlessness is not emptiness, it is expansion. It is the womb of breakthrough preparing to give birth. God is telling you that your old season has expired and a new one is calling your name. When God is lifting you into a season of unstoppable breakthrough, one of the clearest signs you will notice is that your battles suddenly intensify. It often feels confusing and unfair. Just when you start praying more, trusting more, seeking God more, everything around you seems to grow harder. Situations that were calm become turbulent. People who never bothered you suddenly create tension. Doors that looked open begin to resist you. Unexpected problems arise from directions you never anticipated. But what many believers do not realize is that this increase in warfare is not a sign that God has abandoned you. It is a sign that breakthrough is near. The enemy always attacks most fiercely when he senses that a believer is stepping into divine elevation. When you are about to move into a greater level of purpose, the enemy knows he is about to lose influence over areas where he once had control. That is why pressure rises. That is why battles become louder. That is why the spiritual atmosphere feels heavier. You are not being punished. You are being pushed into destiny. The enemy's strategy is to distract you, weaken you, and intimidate you, so you retreat from the place where God is about to bless you. But what the enemy fails to understand is that the battle itself is a prophecy. The warfare is announcing what God is about to do in your life. In seasons like this, you may feel spiritually targeted, as if everything hits you at once. Financial pressure may suddenly escalate. Relationships may become complicated. Delays may increase. Unexpected obstacles may rise up to block your progress. Sometimes even your emotions may feel attacked. Confusion, heaviness, anxiety, weariness. All these are signs that the enemy sees what you cannot yet see. He is reacting to your breakthrough before you even step into it. Just as a storm grows strongest right before the rain breaks, spiritual battles intensify when heaven is about to release something powerful. One of the reasons this happens is because the closer you move toward God's purpose, the more you disrupt the plans of darkness. You begin to break generational patterns. You begin to walk in freedom. You step into alignment with your assignment. The enemy recognizes the shift and fights to pull you back into old cycles. But the presence of the battle means the cycle is breaking. Spiritual opposition is often a sign that God is elevating you beyond the limitations that once held you down. Another important truth is that God allows this intensity not to crush you, but to build you. Breakthrough requires spiritual strength. It requires endurance, faith, discipline, and resilience. You cannot carry a new level with an old level of strength. So God permits the battle so that your faith grows deeper. The attacks make you pray stronger. The pressure makes you seek God more. The warfare forces you to draw closer to Him, depend on Him, and trust Him in ways you never did before. The battle prepares you to handle the blessing. During these moments, it is easy to feel discouraged or wonder why everything seems to be falling apart. But if you look closely, you will notice something remarkable happening inside you. Your character is maturing. Your spiritual sensitivity is increasing. Your discernment becomes sharper. Your prayer life becomes more intense. You begin to recognize your authority in Christ. You become a different version of yourself, stronger, wiser, and more spiritually grounded. The battle is shaping you into the person who can walk boldly into breakthrough without fear. Sometimes the warfare intensifies because you are nearing the end of a season. The enemy fights the hardest at the finish line. Think of a marathon runner. The final stretch is always the hardest, not because the runner is weak, but because victory is close. In your spiritual journey, the same principle applies. When you feel the pressure rising, when the spiritual resistance grows heavier, it is often because you are about to cross into something new. The enemy cannot stop what God has ordained, but he can try to discourage you so that you walk away from your promise before you receive it. Even though the battles feel intense, remember this: God never allows a battle without promising a victory. The warfare is not a sign to give up. It is a sign to hold on. It is God's way of telling you something is coming. If you stand firm, if you refuse to retreat, if you keep praying, keep believing, and keep trusting, you will see the breakthrough that the battle was trying so hard to prevent. The very pressure that tries to break you is the proof that God is about to lift you into a season where nothing can stop what He has ordained for your life. When God is preparing to lift you into a season of unstoppable breakthrough, one of the most misunderstood yet essential signs is that He begins to close doors in your life. At first, this can feel confusing, disappointing, even painful. You may wonder why opportunities suddenly disappear, why relationships fade, why certain plans collapse, or why environments that once felt right begin to feel wrong. But what you perceive as loss is often divine protection. What feels like rejection is often redirection. God closes doors not to limit your life, but to lead you into the place where your breakthrough can fully manifest without interference, contamination, or delay. When God closes a door, it is because He sees what you cannot see. He sees the full picture, the future consequences, the hidden motives, the spiritual atmosphere, the unseen dangers, and the long-term impact. You only see the moment, but God sees eternity connected to every decision and relationship in your life. Sometimes the door you want is too small for the destiny He prepared. Sometimes the person you cling to is not aligned with your calling. Sometimes the opportunity that looks perfect now will become a burden later. So God intervenes to protect your breakthrough before it even arrives. This closed door season is often misunderstood because it feels like things are falling apart. But in reality, things are falling into place. The doors that shut are doors that would have blocked your progress, diluted your purpose, or weakened your spiritual strength. God is making room. Breakthrough requires space. Space in your schedule, space in your heart, space in your relationships, space in your spiritual life. If everything stayed the same, there would be no room for the new thing God intends to do. Many people struggle during this phase because they feel abandoned or overlooked. They assume God is silent, uninterested, or withholding blessings. But God is not taking things from you to punish you. He is taking things from you to prepare you. Imagine trying to carry suitcases from your past into the future God designed. There would be no space for what He wants to place in your hands. Closed doors are God's way of freeing you from attachments that would slow you down or weigh you down in the next season. Sometimes God closes doors through relationships ending. People you cared about may drift away. Their presence may have been comforting, but their assignment in your life has expired. Not everyone can go with you where God is taking you. Some individuals are seasonal. They were meant to walk with you for a chapter, not the entire story. Holding on to people who are no longer aligned with your destiny can delay your breakthrough. So God creates distance, not to hurt you, but to elevate you. Other times, God closes doors through delayed or denied opportunities. When God is preparing to lift you into a season of unstoppable breakthrough, one of the most significant signs you will experience is the sudden revelation of hidden things in your life. These revelations can feel uncomfortable, surprising, or even overwhelming, but they are necessary for your elevation. Breakthrough cannot rest on a foundation that is cluttered, contaminated, or compromised. God reveals what is hidden because He loves you too much to let unseen issues derail your destiny. Before He takes you higher, He brings clarity, truth, and spiritual insight into the areas of your life that must be understood, healed, or removed. Sometimes what God reveals is internal. He begins to show you attitudes, habits, mindsets, and emotional patterns that you may have ignored or justified for years. You start recognizing fear you didn't know was influencing your decisions. You notice pride hiding behind your confidence. You see doubt disguised as caution. You see procrastination masked as patience. You see wounds from the past still shaping your present choices. These revelations are not. At other times, the revelation is external. God begins exposing people's true intentions. He reveals who genuinely supports you and who secretly competes with you. He exposes relationships that drain your spirit or hinder your progress. He shows you environments that are no longer healthy for your growth. You start discerning manipulation, jealousy, dishonesty, or inconsistency in ways you previously overlooked. The masks fall off and motives become visible. While this can feel painful, it is a divine act of protection. It is better to see the truth now than be betrayed later. God reveals these things so you don't carry the wrong people into the right season. Revelation can also come through discomfort. Things that once felt normal begin to bother you. You become sensitive to attitudes, words, or habits that never affected you before. This sensitivity is spiritual, your discernment is sharpening, and God is tuning your spirit to a higher frequency. He is preparing you for a place where your awareness must be sharper, your decisions clearer, and your spirit more aligned with His voice. Breakthrough requires discernment because every new level brings new responsibilities, new challenges, and new opportunities that require wisdom. Sometimes God reveals hidden spiritual battles, patterns that have followed your family, generational cycles, unaddressed spiritual warfare, or areas where the enemy has had access to your life. The Holy Spirit begins to expose what lies beneath the surface so you can break patterns instead of repeating them. Breakthrough is not only about receiving new blessings, it is also about breaking old limitations. Revelation is the first step to deliverance and freedom. God also reveals hidden potential during this season. You may start discovering gifts within yourself that you didn't know you carried. You feel new ideas, fresh creativity, deeper spiritual hunger, and renewed passion rising inside you. You begin to see glimpses of the person God created you to become. Sometimes the revelation is not about what is wrong, it is about what is right, waiting to emerge. God shows you the strength you didn't realize you had. He reveals purpose that was buried under fear. He exposes the calling that life tried to silence. You begin to recognize your own value, identity, and spiritual authority. This season of revelation can feel intense because God is rearranging your internal and external world. But every revelation is an act of grace. It is God preparing the soil of your life for the breakthrough seed He is about to plant. You cannot build a tall structure on a weak foundation. Therefore, God strengthens the foundation through truth. Truth may feel uncomfortable, but it is the doorway to transformation. When God begins revealing hidden things, it is a sign that He is clearing your path. He is eliminating obstacles, exposing traps, and unveiling anything that could sabotage your destiny. He is positioning you for a breakthrough that will not be temporary, but sustained. The more He reveals, the more He heals, the more He exposes, the more He strengthens. And the more clarity He brings, the closer you are to stepping into the season of unstoppable breakthrough that He has prepared for you. When God is lifting you into a season of unstoppable breakthrough, one of the clearest and most encouraging signs is the arrival of strategic people in your life. These individuals are not ordinary acquaintances or casual connections. They are destiny helpers sent by God to support, strengthen, and accelerate your journey. They come into your life at precisely the right moment, often when you feel stuck, weary, or unsure of the next step. Their presence brings clarity, encouragement, and divine alignment. When God sends such people, it is a signal that your breakthrough is close. Because God never positions the right people in your life without preparing to move you into the right season. These strategic people come carrying what your next level requires. Some arrive with wisdom. They show you what you couldn't see, open your mind to new perspectives, or reveal solutions you never considered. Others come with encouragement. They breathe confidence into your spirit when doubt tries to suffocate your faith. Some come with opportunity. They open doors that you could never have opened on your own. And some come with spiritual strength. They pray with you, intercede for you, and stand with you when you feel spiritually attacked. In every case, these individuals act as divine bridges, connecting you from where you are to where God wants to take you. In seasons of elevation, God often removes certain people before bringing new ones. This shift can feel lonely or unexpected, but it serves a purpose. Not everyone who walked with you in your previous season can walk with you into your breakthrough. Some people drain your energy, discourage your dreams, or speak against your calling. Others distract you from your purpose or keep you attached to an old version of yourself. Before God can bring the right people, He removes the wrong ones. This pruning is both painful and necessary because breakthrough requires alignment, emotional, spiritual, and relational. When the strategic people begin to appear, something changes inside you. You feel understood, supported, and uplifted in ways you haven't experienced before. These are people who see the greatness inside you, even when you feel small. They speak life into your spirit. They remind you of God's promises. They refuse to let you give up. Their presence strengthens your heart and lifts the heaviness you've been carrying. Through them, God sends confirmation that you are not alone and that your destiny is still intact. Some of these strategic people may be mentors or leaders who guide you with wisdom drawn from experience. Others may be peers who walk beside you, encouraging you through companionship and shared growth. And sometimes, God even uses unexpected individuals, strangers, brief encounters, or people you never imagined would become blessings. God is creative in the ways He delivers help. But one thing remains consistent. When He sends someone for your breakthrough season, their impact is undeniable. These divine connections also help you grow. They challenge old patterns, correct unhealthy habits, and push you toward a higher standard. They call out the best in you. Their influence shapes your thinking, strengthens your faith, and sharpens your character. breakthrough requires a better version of you, someone who is mature, focused, and spiritually grounded, and the right people are part of that transformation. They help you evolve into the person who can hold the blessing God is preparing. Another beautiful truth is that strategic people carry prophetic timing. They often arrive when you are on the edge of giving up. They speak words that feel like healing rain. They help you make decisions that shift your trajectory. They appear at the exact moment when your spirit needs lifting, your faith needs strengthening, and your journey needs direction. Their timing is not accidental. It is orchestrated by God. In biblical stories and throughout history, every breakthrough was accompanied by strategic people. Moses had Aaron. David had Jonathan. Ruth had Naomi. Esther had Mordecai. Paul had Barnabas. God always pairs purpose with partnership, calling with counsel, destiny with divine helpers. The same God who guided them is guiding you. If God is sending new people into your life, people who inspire you, challenge you, uplift, or open doors for you, recognize it as a sign that He is moving you forward. Your connections are shifting because your season is shifting. Your circle is changing because your level is changing. God is aligning your relationships with your destiny because He is preparing you for a breakthrough that will require unity, support, and divine partnership. When the right people arrive, breakthrough follows. Their presence is a sign from God that He is not only preparing the blessing, but also preparing you to receive it. When God is lifting you into a season of unstoppable breakthrough, one of the most undeniable signs you will experience is the sudden flow of favor in your life. This favor is not something you earn, negotiate for, or strategically position yourself to receive. It is the supernatural touch of God that causes things to align in your direction, often without explanation. Favor is when God moves behind the scenes, influencing circumstances, people, and opportunities so that what once felt impossible suddenly becomes attainable. It is not luck, coincidence, or chance. It is the divine fingerprint of God marking your steps. This kind of favor shows up in surprising ways. Doors that were tightly shut begin to open effortlessly. Opportunities appear that you never applied for. People who barely knew you now want to support you, help you, or recommend you. Situations that seemed blocked for years suddenly begin to shift. You may find yourself receiving approval, recognition, or open pathways that used to require intense struggle. When favor begins to flow, it is as if the wind of God starts blowing behind you, pushing you forward with supernatural momentum. Favor often begins subtly. Someone gives you information that accelerates your progress. Someone goes out of their way to help you without you requesting it. Someone speaks about you in a room where you were not present. Someone decides to trust, invest, or believe in you for reasons even they cannot fully explain. These small acts are not random. They are seeds of breakthrough planted by the hand of God. And as they increase, you realize that something divine is happening. God is clearing the path. One of the beautiful characteristics of divine favor is that it overrides limitations. Favor breaks the rules. It makes people choose you when you don't fit the criteria. It allows you to receive blessings for which you are not qualified according to earthly standards. When favor is on you, what should be difficult becomes easy. What should take years happens in months. What should cost you greatly becomes available at little or no cost. People who once ignored you start noticing your gifts and abilities. Favor transforms obscurity into visibility. This doesn't mean everything becomes perfect or effortless, but it means that God removes unnecessary resistance. Where there used to be constant pushback, the atmosphere now shifts into cooperation. You feel supported instead of blocked. You sense spiritual ease instead of strain. This shift is one of the clearest indications that God is preparing breakthroughs that no human effort could have produced alone. Another important reality about favor is that it is connected to purpose. God doesn't release favor for entertainment or ego. He releases it so you can move into the assignment He has prepared for you. Favor accelerates His plan in your life. It positions you to accomplish what you could not have achieved in your own strength. It places you in environments where your gifts can grow and where your calling can be recognized. Favor elevates you not just for your benefit, but so that you can serve, influence, and shine for His glory. Sometimes favor looks like unusual protection. There are situations where harm was supposed to reach you but didn't. Plans that were supposed to fail succeed instead. Negative words spoken against you lose their power. Attacks the enemy designed to delay you end up exposing his own weakness. God shields you from pitfalls, distractions, and traps because he is preserving you for the breakthrough ahead. Favor doesn't always feel glamorous. Sometimes it just feels like safety, stability, and supernatural peace. Favor also affects timing. Things that were slow suddenly speed up. Processes that always delayed you suddenly rush forward. People respond faster. Approvals come quicker. Even your own ideas and inspirations begin flowing with greater clarity and confidence. This divine alignment of timing is often the most noticeable aspect of favor. You simply find yourself in the right place at the right moment. One key thing to understand about favor is that it is not fragile. It is not dependent on other people liking you or approving of you. Favor does not disappear because someone opposes you. In fact, sometimes the very people who attempt to block you become instruments God uses to elevate you. Human resistance cannot cancel divine favor. When God decides to bless you, no one can reverse it. If you are seeing sudden opportunities, unexpected help, uncommon kindness, or accelerated progress in your life, recognize it as a sign that God is moving. He is shifting you out of survival and into significance. He is opening pathways that lead directly to breakthrough. Favor is the evidence that heaven has endorsed your next season, and nothing on earth can stop what God has begun. As you step back and reflect on these 7 signs, let your spirit recognize that nothing about your life is accidental. Every challenge you've endured, every delay you've encountered, and every tear you've cried has been woven into a divine pattern that leads straight into your breakthrough. God is not only moving around you, he is moving within you. He is stretching your faith, enlarging your capacity, and preparing your spirit to carry the blessings he has already spoken over your life. When God decides to lift you, no force in hell, no human opposition, and no past failure can stop the rise he has ordained for you. Breakthrough is not just an event you are waiting for, it is a season you are stepping into. This is the moment where your faith must rise higher than your fears. God has already gone before you. He has straightened paths you cannot yet see. He has opened doors that will soon appear before you. He has positioned people, opportunities, provision, and favor in your future, and they are waiting for the exact moment he releases you into them. What you are sensing in your spirit, the shift, the hunger, the holy restlessness, is the sound of heaven aligning your life with destiny. This is not a coincidence. This is confirmation. You are not being lifted just for yourself. You are being lifted to become a testimony, a vessel, and a living display of God's glory. As you enter this season of unstoppable breakthrough, walk boldly, walk prayerfully, walk with expectation. Do not shrink back. Do not apologize for God's favor. Do not question the doors he opens. Move forward with confidence that the same God who has sustained you is the God who will promote you, establish you, and elevate you beyond anything you have imagined. Your days of stagnation are breaking. Your season of delay is ending. The winds of acceleration are blowing in your direction. God is lifting you, carrying you, and propelling you into a future that will make sense of everything you have endured. Your breakthrough is not coming. Your breakthrough has begun.